This is why I'm running for president. This is why I don't care how much crap they throw my way. I know who I'm fighting for, Jimmy. I know who I'm fighting for. It is those family members who never got to say goodbye to their loved ones. It's those families in Marion County who feel like they have been lost and forgotten by the leaders who are supposed to be serving them the human cost of this tragedy, of this ripoff, of this hoax that's been played on the American people. To date, 2,433 American men and women lost their lives in service to our country while deployed to Afghanistan. To my knowledge, the last two soldiers who were killed in Afghanistan were two helicopter pilots, one of whom was from my district in Hawaii. And he was a young man, I think in his mid-20s. He had been married not even a year. And I called his widow, a young woman from Utah, and it was just heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking conversation to have as she is continuing to process the fact that the man that she just married less than a year ago is never coming home. And I was blown away by her strength and resilience in saying that she will carry on and make sure that the decision that her husband made, his legacy of service above self, is never, ever forgotten. So when we look at these Afghanistan papers that have been released, we've hardly seen any real coverage about it. We have not brought forward the stories of those families, of those 2,433 men and women, and what they are going through right now as they see how our government has lied to them and their sons and daughters, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters. And what was that sacrifice for? What about those thousands who are still deployed to Afghanistan today, hundreds of whom come from my home state of Hawaii, in the Hawaii National Guard, people I deployed with in my last deployment. My cousin is there right now. He's an infantry company commander. And what for? This is real, man. This is not politics. This is bigger than anything else. We're talking about people's lives, lives of the American troops, our men and women in uniform, and the lives of the people in this country, the lives of the people in these countries where we've waged these destructive and counterproductive regime change wars for so long. The cost to every single taxpayer, the over $6 trillion we've spent on regime change wars since 9/11 alone, the over $1 trillion we've spent just in Afghanistan since we started that war there, the $4 billion we continue to spend in Afghanistan every month now. I tell you, Jimmy, I just came from South Carolina, and a few nights ago I was in Marion County, which is one of the poorest counties in the entire state of South Carolina and in the country. These people are hard up. They are struggling. They are suffering. They are literally living day by day, just focusing on survival. And I had conversations with mothers and teachers and doctors, people from across that community there. We talked about this $4 billion. And their hearts sank as they just started to think about, my gosh, what could even a fraction, even a small fraction of that amount of money that's spent in Afghanistan every month to prop up a corrupt government, to pay off big defense contractors, to pay off fancy consultants like McKinsey and others, when you have people here in our communities in the United States of America who can barely afford to survive. It is a betrayal to the American people. It is a betrayal to every single service member in this country. And there must be accountability. First of all, I'm introducing legislation in Congress to make sure that that accountability and oversight occurs so that we get the full scope of really what happened there. And number two, that we end this nonsense. We end this nonsense. This is why I'm running for president. This is why I don't care how much crap they throw my way. I know who I'm fighting for, Jimmy. I know who I'm fighting for. It is those family members who never got to say goodbye to their loved ones. It's those families in Marion County who feel like they have been lost and forgotten by the leaders who are supposed to be serving them. I will not back down. I will not quit. We are continuing to push forward so that I can have the privilege of being able to earn the trust of the American people, to be able to be in a position where I can end these regime change wars and nation building missions, work to end this new Cold War and arms race, and actually make sure our taxpayer dollars are serving our people.